to this podcast. This is Shelby.
And this is Bliss. And today we are going to start off with a quote from none other than John Lennon, the legend. It says, "When I was 5 years old, my mother told me that happiness was the key to life. When I went to school, they asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wrote down happy. They told me I don't understand the assignment, and I told them they don't understand life."
Now, I like that quote because I feel like there's no reason why your goal in life couldn't be just to be happy. Because being happy is kind of like a foundation to the rest of your life. Because you have to be able to find things that make you happy. Mm-hmm. And that usually leads to your career or something like that.
Yep. And like they always say, that you have to know how to be happy within yourself before you can be happy within a relationship as well. So not only will it improve like a romantic relationship and your job, but it'll improve your relationship with everyone around you. And it'll also improve your relationship with yourself, which is actually the most important, which is kind of what we were going to talk about today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wanted to start off with, recently I took a class at my college campus. What? That doesn't make sense.
Took a class at
my college campus, at school, whatever. You guys know what I mean. Called Positive Psychology. It was with Professor Lorraine Huffman. She probably doesn't even really know who I was, because I kind of sat in the back of the class, because at the point I kind of just looked at this class as like a fluff class, because all we did was watch movies. Turns out it was a lot more than that. And she actually said that she preferred calling it positive psychology in film. Is that what I said earlier? Or did I say positive psychology?
Positive psychology, I think.
Okay, it was not called that. It was called psychology in film.
Okay.
But she said that it should have been called positive psychology in film because it focused more on the positive psychology in the movies and stuff that we watched. I actually learned a lot in this class. We had a couple of books, which one I have with me today, and it's called Positively Happy, and it's actually a book that you fill out for yourself, and it has little prompts about like, okay, list 6 things of what makes you happy, list 6 things that you're grateful for, and 6 things you want to fix about yourself, and then here's some tips on how to do it. And when I was filling these things out, because I also had surveys like of your happiness scale and stuff like that, when I was filling it out, I realized my scales were very low. And I was like, this can't be okay. And that's what really started this whole track for me. And this book is by Sonja, I'm going to guess the last name because it's really hard to say, Lubombsky? Really weird. It's a weird last name, and Jamie Kurtz. But yeah, I don't know if you can find it anywhere. I don't know why not. Maybe. If you can, that's awesome. I 100% recommend getting it and filling it out just to kind of see where you are. But you have to be completely honest. If you just say, oh, well, I should feel this way and put 6 instead of 1, then you're not going to get the feedback that you need. Well, it taught me a lot, and it opened my eyes up a lot, and that's what kind of led to, like, my video, because by the end of the semester, I was realizing a lot that the track I was on didn't feel like where I was supposed to go. So, I thank the class and Professor Huffman a lot, because it kind of opened my eyes, and it started this whole new journey for me, which I'm really excited, and I hope the things I'm learning from this will also help the listeners.
So the next section is about what is happiness, or what constitutes as happiness. And I just want to preface this by saying I don't think that there's any one thing that you can pigeonhole happiness as. There's not one general thing that every single person can do that's going to make you happy. It's about trying all different kinds of things and figuring out what works for you to help get yourself on track to be happy.
So if you describe, like, what would make you happy in life, what would yours be? Because happiness is different for every person. Like, mine can be, oh, I'm just simply jogging every day. Like, it can be that simple, and then yours can be more complex. Like, I want this, 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 and this.
See, I was going to say mine's definitely complex. I gotta have the journaling for when I just have so many thoughts I can't put them together. Journaling helps with that. If I'm feeling really low self-esteem-wise, affirmations help, either saying them to myself in the mirror or writing them down. Working out is good. That dopamine release whenever you're exercising really, really helps level up my moods. Getting outside, being in the outdoors really, really helps. Vitamin D is a big thing for me because I have post-seasonal depression. So it's like all these things that I have to do to kind of like keep myself in track. just keeping up with basic self-care too, like making sure I do little things like wash my face every day and stuff, like those little things, because if you think about it, the little things we do for ourselves actually add up, like all the self-care and stuff too, because you're basically nurturing yourself like you would another person. And I think that's a big thing for myself too, is I always give so much of myself to everybody else, so sometimes just taking a little bit more time, having a little bit of that alone time to do whatever it is that, like, I need is a big factor too, because I tend to throw myself into my relationships with people. So if that's something that you tend to do, I'm telling you now, even if you don't want to spend time by yourself, it is good for you and you will learn to love it. So just keep yourself occupied, because if you have this alone time and all you do is sit around and think, you're going to drive yourself crazy, and of course you're not going to like being alone. But if you find things you like to do during that alone time, honestly, it's so peaceful. It really is. Yeah. So what do you think happiness is for you then?
Mine's really complicated because I don't even know where to start, because that's the whole point of this. But
yeah, that's true.
I want to say a lot of it for me is career driven, that I'm doing something that allows me to kind of be free, if that makes any sense, to where, like, I kind of have travel control of, like, what I do every day and stuff like that. I don't mind working in, like, places I work now, like the ranch and stuff like that, but with, like, the ranch, it's a little bit more stressful, and it's something, especially if you're struggling with your own issues, it's not the best job to have. So yeah, I think mine's more career driven. Mine's more, like, based off of, like, what my future holds. And a lot of times I see myself kind of drawing this line about, okay, if I can get to this point and in my career, I will be happy for the rest of the time. Realization is it's not going to happen. But in my mind, it just keeps, like, drawing this line saying, I just need to get past this point and it'll be fine. I do the basic things, like I meditate a lot now. I learned that a lot in this positive psychology class too. But yeah, I meditate a lot, and there's different ones that you can find online if you really want to. There's tons of subscriptions, which I didn't come and have all those written down like I thought I was going to. But yeah, there's tons of apps and stuff like that you can use to help kind of guide you through the meditations, because there's ones specifically for, like, sleep and stress and mindfulness, and it's, like, very important stuff that you need to listen to. I tend to do one, if I'm feeling really stressed, I'll do a stress one. If I just need to clear my mind, I'll do a mindfulness one. Just stuff like that. And that helps a lot. Also remember mentioning my views on other people's happiness. Where, like, I go on social media and I see these people constantly post things about their life, and it makes me mad. Because I'm like, why do they get to be happy and I'm not? I also had to realize that what I'm seeing is just a highlight of their life. It's not fully what's going on. And even though it's really hard to get there when you first see these kind of things, especially with someone, like, who did you wrong in the past, you just instantly have that negative feeling towards them, and that's something I really need to break, especially with one relationship. But, and I'm trying. I've helped myself a little bit, which I'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, it's hard, because, like, I'll see these internet, what do you call them? Influencers or something like that, and they'll be like, oh, I'm in Hawaii this time, and then next week I'm in New York. Alright, cool.
But you do have to remember, though, these influencers, since they work from home and stuff, a lot of them do struggle with mental health and everything. Like, it's making it sound like happiness is so easy to find, but it's not. And, like, just because you can be happy and still have bad days. You can be generally happy but have a bad day, and then the next day be fine again. So that's something to remember too, is to allow yourself that time to feel those bad days, because everybody has a bad day every once in a while. It's those bad days that remind us how good the good days actually are. So,
and I think it's important to remember that, you know, a big portion of it, and I think I mentioned it in my video, that I need to focus more on the happy aspects of my life rather than the negative, because I've noticed I become more of a pessimist, and I've always said I'm not going to become that because that's my dad. But I have been becoming that, and when I see, you know, things online, I get these negative thoughts in my mind, and the first thing I try to do is put it on the back burner and be like, no, it's fine. These are the good things right now. Maybe one day I'll get there. It's just not for me now. Which is hard, because I want it to be now. That's just me.
I mean, yeah, in your early 20s, though, everybody feels like they need to be at the finish line.
Yeah. And I feel like there is this pressure, like, now, for some reason, that we need to be so focused.
Well, because you see these 18-year-old kids fresh out of high school millionaires on YouTube, and then you're like, I'm still going to college making $11 an hour, like...
Yeah, like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
Because that's the thing now, like... Not saying don't go to college, people, but I'm just saying...
I will 100% always say go to college, because you still get experiences that you won't get any other time in your life. So at least go there and get, like, 2 years in with your associates and get a general degree, because it's worth it. And a lot of times you go into college not knowing what you're going to do. But you wouldn't learn unless you go. You just don't really know. And, yeah, college isn't for everyone, but you don't know unless you try it.
Exactly. But that's the thing, though. Now, there's so many ways to make way more money than you can with a degree without one, and a lot of these people are figuring it out with the social media stuff. And, like, not gonna lie, I'm not saying I'm not one of those people that wants to try to make that happen, but I also know, like, I could go to college and do that, too. Yeah.
Like, I have multiple plans. Like, I have plan A, plan B, and so on. But, yeah, there's a specific one that I want to happen more, yeah.
But it's one of those things where, again, you have to remember that may be the path that is for them, and maybe that path's not meant for you, and you don't realize that because you don't realize what could come with that. If, you know, be careful what you ask for, kind of thing, basically. You know, and just be grateful for the opportunities that are presented to you, and don't overlook things that are presented to you because you're too focused on something else.
Right.
Because you never know. I mean, trying new things is something that I'm also trying to do to stay happy. Yeah. Because I pigeonhole myself and live out of fear. And because I'm afraid to try stuff, because I'm afraid to get embarrassed, I'm afraid to hurt myself, I'm afraid to whatever. And I'm tired of doing that because I'm not going to have any experiences. Like, I'm going to have kids and they're going to be like, what did you do, Mom? Oh, I used to stare at the wall, watch TV. Like... My kids aren't going to want to hear that.
Yeah, no.
So I want to go out and experience more crap, try new things, because it'll help figure out what I want to do more, because, yes, psychology is something I'm super interested in, but I don't want to say, yes, that's what I want to do, go get a degree in it, and then not be what I want, which is exactly why I'm not in college right now, why I'm taking a break. I basically have my associate's degree. I need to go for, like, a summer. I could go over a summer, or I could go a semester, and I would have my associate's degree. It's just... It's just, once I get that associate's degree, what do I want to do? Yeah. You know?
Yeah. And that's a struggle I'm dealing with, because I'm like, I'm almost about to get my bachelor's in a year. And I keep thinking to myself, alright, am I going to be happy with this? Am I going to use it? And that's, like, the most terrifying thing ever. But I know I've gotten this far, I'd be dumb to stop and not, or just not go. So, I know I'm going to finish the degree. I'm one of those people, I'm goal-oriented. That's what motivates me. I set a goal, I'm going to do it. But it's just scary to think, am I going to use this?
But it's just a general psych degree, right?
Yeah.
You can use that in so many different ways.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get a master's in a specific part of psychology, and it just be a different part of psychology than what you thought. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to do criminal psych like you thought, because that's why you're working at the turnaround ranch, because it was going to be kind of like a foot in the door as far as then going to work at prisons talking to, like, legitimate criminals.
The difference between the ranch, though, and criminals is that you're, like, 6 to 1 in the ratio, while as a therapist at a prison, you're one-on-one with some guards outside the door. Yeah. So, like, and that, I'd rather do one-on-one work than work in a place where I have 11 kids I have to watch. Yeah. And at any moment, they could turn around and do something that puts me in danger, and if I don't have, like, a staff that I can trust, that's scary.
And see, at prison, you don't have to worry about that, because they hear any kind of commotion, and the guards are going to be looking in the door there. Yeah. So, like, I understand why you're scared about maybe not using that degree, but I think you'll use it. I think you'll use a psych degree. I mean, even maybe just, like, getting a teaching certificate, because you already will have a bachelor's, so you won't need to actually go to school. You'll just need to go for a little bit and get your teaching certificate, and you could teach psych somewhere. You could teach, like, a high school entry-level psych class if you wanted, or something. Like, I mean, there's so many different things that you can do with it, which is what I've been trying to remind myself. It's just, like, I'm gonna have to take out student loans to go. And so for me, it's like I really want it to be worth it because I'm gonna be in hella debt afterwards.
I don't remember how I did it, but somehow I found out. I calculated all of like how much I spend, how much I would spend at a certain school if I went there for my doctorate and stuff like that. I'd be spending about $180,000 in school debt by the time I'm done. And I'm like, geez Louise.
It would take you several years to pay that off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the bad thing is like every decision we make now is almost like an end-all be-all fucking situation because we're adults.
Yeah. Alright. So, yeah, that's, like, part of my happiness is, like, a lot of
it's your career and school
career.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Finding a purpose.
That weighs on me like crazy. Mm-hmm. And finding my purpose. Like, that was in my video, too. I keep referencing back to it because I'm, like, remembering. But, yeah, purpose is such a big thing. Because I feel like I'm just, like, another ant in an ant farm.
That's exactly how I feel right now.
Yeah.
Like you're not, doing anything meaningful.
Yeah, like, I'm just, every day, wake up, go to work, come back home.
Your job is meaningful.
My job is very meaningful. And I do have a lot, like, I do know I make an impact there. But I don't know, it's just, like...
It doesn't have that fulfillment.
It doesn't. It does when a kid leaves successfully from our program. Because you're like, yesterday I had a group by group for one of the kids, and it was so great to see that kid, smile, and thinking back of when I first started at the job and the way they acted when I first started at the job to compare to now. Like, they have changed so much, and it's absolutely amazing, and I know they'll do great. I mean, they'll probably have some mishaps, but everyone does. But, like, that kind of stuff is very rewarding, and, like, yeah, I feel important, but it doesn't give me the gratification that I guess I expect. And, like, I feel bad for that. But at the same time, it's just, it's one aspect of life. I'm like, there's gonna be other things.
But I'm not trying to bring astrology into this, people. I'm super into astrology, but you are a Capricorn, and, like, it is your nature to be very career-oriented, and that's something that I admire about you guys. I am married to a Capricorn, in case anybody's wondering. Hi, yes, I'm married. I don't think I've said that on this podcast yet. You know me personally, you already know, because I my husband people to death, but,
And his birthday's, like, the day before mine.
It is.
So, like, we're really close.
Yeah. You guys are very similar.
Yeah.
Your birth charts, your natal charts are very similar. But that's something I really admire about you guys is your drive, career-wise. And that you guys set goals and you fulfill them. But one thing is you guys don't know how to, well, he kind of does, because he's a laid-back person. Not that you're not laid back, but you're less so.
Yeah.
And I feel like with you specifically, you gotta learn how to, like, take a deep breath. Give yourself a break, let yourself breathe, like, give yourself a moment, like, because you have accomplished so much already, like, I'm not putting myself down, because I don't regret where I'm at, but I'm just saying, like, you have way more college done than I do, like, I know that you say, like, all these people are setting all these accomplishments and all this crap, but, like, there are people who you are in a farther along place than they are. I mean, there are people who look at you and look at your success and think, wow, I can't believe how successful she is. I admire that.
Yeah.
And that's something when I talk about you being my friend that I always tell everybody, like, I can't believe, like, I'm friends with somebody who is so driven and so motivated and so smart that, like, not that I have not had friends that are intelligent and smart. If you fuckers are listening to this, I love you bitches too, but, like, with you it's different. Like, I usually, like, excel at shit, and I'm usually pretty advanced compared to, like, people. With you, it's not that way. I feel like we're very evenly matched. You're even a little bit smarter than I am.
Okay.
You are. I've
it's
read some
literally
of your
3 years
essays.
difference of college. That's it. I feel like that's it.
Yeah, but that makes a lot of difference, especially because I haven't consistently gone to school since I graduated high school. So that's 4 years of time where I've been fucking on and off doing stuff and then not. And I mean, you lose that knowledge if you don't use it all the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, anyways, I'm just saying this to help make you feel better, put it in perspective. There are people who feel about you the same way that you feel about others. I mean, I have always looked up to you in the way that you look up to others as far as your success. Like, you motivate me to want to be, like,
I'm glad. I
farther
appreciate
in my career
it.
and stuff.
Yeah, my boss was telling me how he liked how I kind of motivated the kids I worked with to finish school and go to school. And I made a joke because he said that yesterday at the kids goodbye group. I was like, and you're going to go to college no matter what, because she was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna go to college. Well, you are, so give it a shot.
I always say give it a shot.
Yeah.
If you give it a shot and you really don't think it's for you, then that's your choice to make.
Yeah.
But, like...
Because there's scholarships that let your first 2 years of college free. So,
or you can do the
not?
A+ program if you're decent through high school.
Which I don't know if that's everywhere. Like, where we live, that's a thing.
Yeah.
But there's probably scholarships other places that are
Yeah.
about the same. But yeah. Anyways, back to happiness. We totally just...
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, that's another thing that you can keep in mind that may be, like, a positive affirmation for you that may help you stop from bringing yourself down. Because that's one thing I've learned. Don't at all bring yourself down ever. If you can't accomplish something, just say, that's alright, I will learn from this, I can do X, Y, Z next time to improve. Because my problem is I do something wrong, and then I beat myself down for it. So, again, that's something that can affect your happiness. Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself like how you would treat somebody else that you really care about.
Right.
Like, with kindness, with patience,
understanding. Like what I did for your birthday.
You are such an angel, you know that. I literally cried, people. I bawled, and then I sent her a video hours later crying again about it, like...
Well, like, I do that stuff because, you know, growing up, like, don't get me wrong. My parents did everything for me growing up. Sorry, my phone is annoying today. I'm gonna turn the volume off. I don't know why that's even on. I do that kind of thing because growing up, growing up I was fine. You know, parents, you know, did big birthday parties for me. I was great. But when I got to, like, my late teens and now early 20s, my birthday, I don't want to say it's a burden, but it's really close to Christmas, and so and it's during the winter, so it makes it really hard to do anything. And it's around a really bad time because everyone's, like, financially wise is very low because of Christmas. And, like, I'm not saying I expect things on my birthday every year, but every once in a while just to have, like, someone do something for me.
Someone pull through,
Yeah, to just appreciate it. Like, I understand it's a bad time, but it would be nice. And I mean, my friends give me, like, gifts and stuff. Like, my past birthday, my friend Alyssa gave me that blue feather, meditation place thing, and I appreciate it. I haven't used it yet, because I haven't had a chance, but, just stuff like that is fine. But, like, I go all out, because I see those things on the movies where they're, like, best friends, or online, you know, best friends do these giant, big things, and I'm like, that's so simple to do. I get that it's big, but it's so simple to do, and I would appreciate it, and so I'll do it for my friends, like I did for you, because it makes me happy, the fact that I'm making you happy.
I'm the exact same way, though.
Yeah. So for this last little bit, we want to talk about different ways that we've learned, ways to help kind of build happiness. These are just very basic things. Until you get those down, like, I think everyone should start with these things and then build from them. So, like, say, getting physical. Alright, just do basic stuff. And then you might find that rock climbing or hiking, you know, if you do those often, then that will help. But yeah, earlier Bliss had talked about journaling, which is very helpful, which kind of reminded me of this gratitude letter that I had to write in my positive psychology and film class. And at first I was going to write to my mom, but I was like, no, that's not going to happen. Because she wanted us to send it to whoever we were writing it to. And I'm awkward about that stuff, so I didn't think I was going to send it to anyone, and I didn't. But I actually ended up writing one to someone in my family the relationship between us has been broken for some time now. And I took it upon myself to write the letter to that person so that I would probably feel better about the situation, because I'm very negative towards this person right now in my life, and it's been that way for years, and I know I need to get rid of it, and I know I need to drop it. So I wrote this letter. I have no intention for this person to ever read it. It was more for me, so that I can let my feelings out, and also, I'm gonna be straight honest. It's not up to me to heal the relationship. It wasn't my fault with what happened. You're only hearing one side of the story here, and I'm not even going to give the full story, but all I'm going to say is, with everything that had happened between me and this person, it's not my responsibility to heal it, especially after all this time. That's how I feel.
Because you're the one that needs closure, because you're the one that was hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I wrote this letter exactly how I felt, why I am the way I am when I'm around them, because I still just see them around, like, family events. And if they're listening to this, hi, how are you? Because most likely they will probably get the hint of who it is, without even me saying any big detail. But, yeah. But yeah, I wrote the letter, and I noticed that writing this, it's funny because it's a gratitude letter. So the whole time I was writing why I was grateful for them. Because when I was sitting there and thinking about it, I am very grateful for this person. But it just happens that right now our relationship has been tough, to say the least. So writing that letter helped a lot, and I felt a lot of the negativity towards that person kind of evaporate. Anyways.
That's alright.
Yeah. But yeah, it went away, and there's still some negative feelings towards that person, but again, it's been years, and so although it's not up to me to fix the relationship, I can't keep holding that grudge, because that affects my own personal happiness.
That's something you gotta let go for yourself.
Yeah. So, I highly recommend writing a gratitude letter to someone. It's up to you if you want to send it to them, and whether or not it's just someone that you genuinely are grateful for, or if it's like a bad relationship that you need to get some things off your chest. 100% do the gratitude letter. Again, up to you if you want to send it. I don't have the guts, but you might.
And then, not just by like letters, but like journaling, affirmations, maybe just tracking your thoughts. If you're somebody who struggles with certain mental health disorders, it can help you kind of piece together your symptoms and stuff as well.
Yeah, for sure. Another one, I mentioned that earlier, meditation. That's a big one. I won't go into big detail because I did earlier in the podcast. But yeah, I do that at least, I try to do it once a day, but with my work schedule, sometimes I get home and I'm way too tired because I get home around midnight. So yeah, when I get home, I'm like out. But if I have time, then I'll do it. That or in the morning.
Physical activity is a big one. I know we highlighted that. For me specifically, the gym really works, but if it's cardio, if it's weightlifting, if it's just some kind of like sport or something you like to do to keep yourself active, any physical activity, yoga even, it's like kind of a mix of physical activity and meditation almost, and it's really good. You really only need 10 to 15 minutes a day, especially if you're just doing simple things like yoga. Just to boost your mood.
Right.
And plus it'll help you physically too, and if the physical body feels better, then the brain does too.
Yeah, it helps. It's all connected.
Yeah. And with that comes eating right as well. Now, I'm not going to preach too hard on this because I'm not somebody who quite has a good diet or anything, so I'm not going to give you guys any like too crazy suggestions there, but eating right can really help. I mean, what you feed your body is like what it uses to fuel you. So I'm just saying that if you put healthy stuff in there, it'll fuel you more healthily.
Now, with, like, physical activity, it could be a wide variety of things. Because, like, my physical activity is hiking and going on walks, and I take my dog everywhere with me. No, I'm not a crazy dog lady. It's just I have...
Yes, you are.
Okay.
You are, though. You are, though.
Okay, I am... It started with Samson before he passed. But Samson was too big. He was a Newfoundland lab. So he was precious. He was my big baby. He was my mom's big baby, too. But, we had another dog, Riley, that came up, and he was a surprise. We did not expect him. But he's the first actual small dog I've had, and he's not small. He's a fair size. But he's, like, travel size.
Like miniature schnauzer?
He's like a Cocker Spaniel size.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, he's very easy to go hiking with, and he loves going in the water. So whenever I go on a hike, I take him.
Aww.
Because I get him a vest and everything, because they also say, which I learned in this class, and I did an activity with my dog, because it was part of an assignment, pets also increase happiness, even if it's just temporary. being around an animal that loves you unconditionally for no reason other than you feed them.
Yeah.
It helps a lot. And I do agree with that. I was raised with animals. And so being around, especially around Riley, because I grew a giant connection with him these past couple of years of having him, that it helps. And, you know, when I get home and I've had a stressful day at work, he comes up and he cuddles with me. I'll be laying down, he'll just come and lay down next to me. And I notice, like, my stress that I'm feeling just kind of evaporates. And it's like he knows. Because if I'm crying, he also comes up and tries to lick the tears off my face.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. So he knows, and he knows when I feel stressed. And that's why whenever I say, let's go outside, or let's go for a drive, he gets so excited. But at first, I notice he kind of comes up to me and checks to make sure that he doesn't sense anything. And then he'll go to the door and start whining because he's excited to go. But he always checks to make sure that, you know, we're just going for a walk or just going for a drive.
Aww.
Yeah, it's adorable. So yeah, 100%. If you have an animal, 100% spend as much time as you can with them because they do help.
I already wanted a dog now. That's just, hey, honey.
Hey,
I know
Nick.
you're listening. We're buying a dog.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. We can't have one here at this apartment or else
Yeah.
we would. But, I mean, when we move out, I'm hoping wherever we move to next, fingers crossed it's actually a house.
Yeah.
That we can have animals because I want a dog so bad. We had a dog most of my childhood, and before that we had a cat. So, I mean, I've always had an animal.
Oh yeah, I have a cat, but he's a pain in the butt. I don't, He literally tried to go into a fire when he was little, so I call him the spawn of Satan. He's evil. I hate
I
it's a
don't
love-hate relationship.
I don't dislike cats, but I'm definitely more of a dog person.
Me too. Especially after the past 2 dogs I've had. So.
Well, I had a poor experience with my first pet, which was the cat. So, therefore, in my heart, I cannot bring myself to have another cat quite yet.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah. I'm not saying all cats are bad. I've seen tons of videos where cats are, like, the sweetest things. And I'm like, I just got unlucky and got the spawn.
It depends on the kitten.
Yeah.
It depends
it really
on
does.
the kitten.
My cat is, like, pure white. He looks like an angel, but then you get too close to him and, nah, you're asking for death. I'm telling you. He is the worst. But yeah, 100% if you have animals, be around them more, take some time, take them on a walk, because you're not only bonding your relationship, you're also decreasing stress, and
getting a breath of fresh air, some vitamin
important.
D.
Yeah.
Also, let's see, if you
even if it's a cat, take them on a walk. I've seen people with cats on walks in my neighborhood, which I thought was weird at first, but I get it if that's what you have, and it's an adventurous cat, go for it.
Fair enough,
Just
I guess.
go.
Fair enough, I guess. When it comes to backtracking a little bit to the eating right thing, if you don't eat right, taking multivitamins might help. Because that's what I do. I take vitamins and stuff to help with the nutrients that I may not always be getting from what I'm eating. At least I'm self-aware with that. And then if you are somebody who does a lot of weightlifting, protein shakes. Because it'll help you keep on that muscle you're building. Just tip with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that is going to wrap up our podcast on happiness. I mean, it's such a broad term that I feel like we could be on this subject for forever.
Yeah.
But basically, what we want to say is there's a whole lot of different things that you can do to help yourself find happiness, to help guide you in the right direction, find things that at least make you happy for the most part. Because again, like we talked about last podcast, it's a balancing act, you know, and there are going to be things that lack. But it's about letting yourself feel okay with that, and then, you know, showering yourself with all the other things that do make you happy.
Yeah.
So.
And there's some videos I know, which I might try to find them, hopefully I can, of certain meditation ideas and like ways to increase happiness that goes into kind of what we said, that you can also kind of guide you of how to do certain things. Which, when we get the YouTube channel version set up, I can set the links below in the description. And then, but we have someone working on our logo and YouTube banner at the moment. So when that all gets finished, this will be probably put on
She's
there.
making a YouTube banner as well?
Yeah, I told her to. So, not that I'm being bossy, I just said, hey, I need this as well, and she said she was more than welcome to do it.
But anyways, again, if you have any more constructive criticism, I know the sound started out well with this podcast, and we double-checked it about halfway through, and it was kind of weird, so I'm sorry if it goes in and out. Like, if we move at all where we're sitting at, it changes the way the sound goes.
Yeah.
And we're recording in my kitchen, and like my fridge sometimes is on and sometimes it's not. Like,
so the clear
making
audio
noise.
is when the refrigerator is off.
Yeah, because the last time we recorded it under a vent in my living room, so we were trying to try something different, and it was raining in a window next to us. We're working the kinks out. I'm eventually going to get my own microphone. We'll figure this out eventually, guys. If you have any tips, let us know. If you have any suggestions for topics in the future, I know we've kind of got it lined up for a few more podcasts at least, but if you have any more suggestions of anything, maybe even on kind of along the lines of the topics that we're talking about, feel free to reach out and tell us you want us to highlight that. If you want to ask a question and you want it to be known that you asked a question, we can start like a question segment if that's something you guys want towards the end of the podcast, answer a few questions each time. But other than that, I think that's it, and
we'll see you for next week's, which is Secondhand Self.
Yep.